I'm Carla Forrester. I think we're the last presentation of the day before the Ask the Expert session. We're really happy to be here. I lead a hardware experiences team within the strategy and ecosystem group in WDG. And my team works with the hardware ecosystem, so many of you, to bring great end-to-end experiences to Windows 10 devices. And Christian Lamp is on my team. He's the input PM, and I'll let him talk a little bit about what he does.
Thanks, Carla. So, as Carla said, my name is Christian Lamp. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first WinHEC presentation. So why don't I tell you a little about our team and what we do. We represent all of the hardware experiences engagements for the Windows input platform. Now what that means is we develop applications and experiences based on feedback from internal teams and the Windows ecosystem that support all devices such as touch, pen, precision touchpad, text input, and more across all form factors and editions of Windows. So what are we going to talk to you about today? We're going to give you a little recap about the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. Then we're going to talk to you about Windows Ink. We're also going to talk to you about the Microsoft Pen program. And then we'll follow it up with some talk about Precision Touchpad. So before we get started talking about the latest updates, why don't we recap what we discussed at the last WinHEC session this last June. We highlighted the fact that working with you, we doubled the amount of pen-capable devices in the ecosystem. We also talked about the 1,000 plus inking apps available in the Microsoft Store, representing an incredible opportunity for IHVs, ODMs, OEMs, and app developers in the pen and ink space on Windows. And the opportunity keeps growing as we expand and invest in the platform and show how Smart Ink empowers the user to do more by understanding intent. We also hear that many users lose their pens, and we took this feedback and added a Find My Pen feature to help users locate their lost pens. Find My Pen provides the user with key information such as the last known Wi-Fi connection location to help them recover their lost pens. We also brought added confidence and predictability to the pen interaction model, where the pen inks on canvas, otherwise manipulates content, and the barrel button provides unified selection everywhere. We also talked about how you consume tilt via pointer messages. And finally, we talked about the fact that it's time for precision touchpad, or for laptop companies to switch to precision touchpad. So why don't we show you a video of some of the features available now in the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update.
Wasn't that a great video? Gave a nice overview of many of the inking enhancements that we brought to the Fall Creators Update, which you all know is available now. And in a little bit, Christian and I'll do a demo of a couple of the Office features that you saw in the video. But first, I want to talk to you a bit more about how we think about Windows Ink people are more creative and productive when they use Windows 10, and Windows Ink is one of the most loved hero features that we have in Windows 10. We know that 212 million people alone in the US use a pen every day. We also know that pens are uniquely suited for math equations, drawing, graphs, flowcharts, and other non-linguistic content, things that you really can't do with a keyboard. And so that's why we think there's so much power in having a pen connected to your Windows 10 device in addition to that keyboard and that touchscreen. We do purchase intent surveys, and pen consistently shows up as the third most important purchase consideration for two-in-one devices. Pen continues to grow at a fast rate. As Christian mentioned earlier, last year we doubled the number of pen-capable devices in the ecosystem, and we're on track to do that again in the coming year. There are 10 times more pen-enabled devices in the Windows ecosystem versus iOS or Android. That, coupled with the growth that we're seeing, means that the pen is a big opportunity with Windows. We're seeing 2 times the user engagement with the pen year over year. And we consistently see higher net promoter scores, so on average 9 points higher for customers who use a pen. So this means that those customers are much more likely to recommend the Windows Pen experience to their friends and family. Christian mentioned a few minutes ago when he recapped the June WinHEC that at that time we had over 1,000 ink-enabled apps in the Windows Store. And since then, this has increased by 20%, so we're up to more than 1,200 apps in the what we now call Microsoft Store. And it continues to grow. Finally, it's all about the money. 60% of the top 10 apps use Windows Ink. And what we find is that even when you look at the top 100 apps, inking apps have 76 higher average revenue than the rest of the top 100 total apps. So the bottom line is that we see inking apps consistently driving more revenue for our partners. On all dimensions, pen and ink bring more value to both the end user and to the Windows ecosystem. Now Christian's going to show you a demo using the pen with the latest version of Word.
Thanks, Carla. So one of the greatest things that we've added recently is into Office, there's an ink editor now. I can sit there on my couch and I can start editing documents. If I want to change the font, I just go into the ink editor, highlight the text, and a dialog box comes up. Now, I don't like that font, so I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. We could change the font there, and it's still not big enough. So I can go up. No, that's not right. Let's go back down. Let's say I want to get rid of some words. I can just cross right through it, and the word is deleted. Now, I didn't want that deleted, so let's back up. I need to highlight this, because I need to bring this to Carla's attention. I can just highlight it, and automatically it turns into a highlighted text. But I don't need everything highlighted, so I can cross right back through it, and the highlight is taken away. I can do all this from sitting at my couch at home. I don't have to get up and walk to my desktop. So why don't we have Carla show you a PowerPoint presentation she created recently as well.
Great, thanks, Christian. All right, so I'm going to select PowerPoint here. And if you can see here at the top, there's a Draw tab, just like you saw in Word. And that's, as I mentioned, in the latest version of Office 365. And so I want to show you a presentation I pulled together to show my friends based on a trip I did to Italy in September. And I want to really personalize that presentation. So you can see here, I've got a pen that I selected, and I matched the color to the presentation so that now I can write Carla. Oops, I didn't pick the right pen. So all I have to do is turn this over, and there's an eraser on the bottom of the pen. I can erase that. And I'm going to start over here. So now, that's the pen I wanted. So I'm going to personalize my presentation. I can scroll down to the next slide using the pen. And now you can see here's a church in Torino, Italy. And this church is where the Shroud of Turin lives. So I thought that was kind of a fun fact. I can go down to the next slide. And you can see there's a circle here. I'll talk about why I've circled that in a minute. But I want to tell you how that circle got there. I was using the Photos app, and there's an ink toolbar in that Photos app that let me put that circle there so that when I copied this photo over to PowerPoint, it was there. And that same toolbar is in over 300 apps in the Microsoft Store. And it's very easy for developers to add that ink toolbar by just writing 2 lines of XAML markup. So now, back to why I have that circle there. Well, this was at the beginning before I went on a bike tour, and we happened upon all of these red Ferraris. And red's my favorite color. But this car here was a Maserati in black. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I kind of wished I could just stay there and look at the cool cars. But I continued on my trip. The next thing we did was we went truffle hunting. And you can see here there's this big truffle in my hand that this dog here named Luna found in the woods. We got to eat that truffle later that night at dinner, which was delicious. And then finally, I went biking in Piedmont. Whoops. I go here, and I had some Barolo wine. You can see the vines there. And then at the end, I went to the Mediterranean coast and saw this St. Francis of Assisi statue over the beautiful Mediterranean Sea. So now I'm going to go into presentation mode. And let me go up to the top of the presentation. So now I'm going to take the same pen I've been using, which I paired to the PC over Bluetooth, and I can use this pen as my remote control by clicking the tail end button. So I can click once to advance the slides, and if I click and hold, it'll go backwards back to the beginning of the presentation. So that makes for just a really nice ability to have a remote control and a pen all in one.
Thank you, Carl. So using your pen as your remote control, this is a new feature. You can now leverage the Bluetooth tail end button input that used to be exclusively for the Windows Shell and Ink workspace to deliver these great experiences Carla just showed you. This Bluetooth button is found on all Surface pens and premium accessory pens available from other OEM partners, and retail pens, such as the Wacom Bamboo Ink Dual Protocol pen. Many of the major OEMs also provide Bluetooth-enabled pens that enable this pen as remote control feature. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Microsoft Pen Program. This is an off-the-shelf solution for Windows Ink compatibility, with pen users being more satisfied than those using traditional input methods. It's critical that we make pens readily available and accessible to our customers. The best way for users to experience and love Windows Ink and your applications is to have a pen bundled with their device. But due to pricing concerns, we realize that isn't always possible. The Microsoft Pen Program uses some technology born out of our Surface products, and in partnership with the industry's leaders in touch and pen technology, this enables OEMs to source affordable touchscreens and bundled pens from the ecosystem that work together to provide a high-quality inking experience. Since all of these pens and these components from the supply chain use the same Microsoft Pen protocol, Everything is interoperable, and that means finding an accessory pen is really simple. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the pen interaction model. I mentioned that a little bit ago. Some of the changes that we make have been driven by the Microsoft Pen program, and the number one feedback we received from our pen users was that they felt the pen experience wasn't consistent. Whenever they weren't in an app with inking, they weren't sure what it would do. Would it select things, scroll, or do nothing? So we came together as one Microsoft across our application, hardware, and Fluent design teams to come up with a model that solves this for users' expectations. With the new pen interaction model, users have confidence and predictability in their pen interactions. On inking surfaces, it inks, and non-inking surfaces, it navigates and scrolls in a way that is consistent with touch. The pen has a barrel button, which can be used to select content everywhere, whether it's a lasso select in OneNote or a caret selection in Word, making it easy to grab and modify the content you want. Let me tell you why this barrel button is so important. Imagine an interactive whiteboard, a large one, similar to something like what's behind me. If I didn't have a barrel button on my pen, I might not be able to reach up to select my input, to select my ink. Most apps have a UI for a selection mode, but if the screen is very large, I might not be able to reach it. With the barrel button, I don't need to worry about the context shift, since the power to select is right there in my hand. We're making this barrel button a requirement so that users have a consistent way to quickly select items, and application developers can count on the fact this barrel button is there for pen selection and not worry about cluttering up the pen experience with extra UI. Every single MPP-compatible pen from all of our IHVs meets this HLK requirement. So why don't I talk to you about that pen design? The Windows Hardware Compatibility Program is a minimum bar, and all certified devices have to pass this requirement. We're making the barrel button a requirement, and as of RS4, it's a locked-in requirement. And what you're seeing on screen is two different pen designs that both meet the Windows HLK requirement. One uses a barrel button for erase. You can see that on the right here, the black one, but it's the Wacom Bamboo ink. And the Surface Pen on the left, it has a barrel button and the tail end erase option. Some users prefer a barrel button for erase, for power at their fingertips and less context switching, but some users prefer a tail end eraser that models a more traditional pencil. And I've talked about pen design, but we currently have 2 generations of pens out there that power all these experiences we keep talking to you about. Generation 1, of which you see 2 variations on the left, included a 133 hertz report rate and up to 1024 pressure levels. Again, either a barrel button on the barrel for the select and the erase, or you can have the erase on the tail end. But coming soon, we have a 2nd generation of pens that will have a 266 hertz report rate for improved latency and sampling. It will include tilt and 4096 pressure levels for more realistic and expressive ink. And this is a slide that I'm really excited to share with you. This is the first time we've talked about this publicly. In addition to the 8 great pen ODMs we have with compatible pens, we now have, including Elan, 5 different touch controller suppliers with MPP compatibility. No other pen technology on any platform has this level of scale or interoperability in the entire industry. So why don't we show you how this compatibility works? Carla has one of our Surface Pro pens, and right now she has the Elan 5th Gen controller. And this device supports Microsoft Pen Protocol, so our Surface Pen works on it. We also have a device with an Elan 6th Gen controller. This also supports MPP, and our pen writes on that. Now we have a device with an EETI-powered controller. If you're sensing a theme here, it also works on that device. And now we have a device from WinHEC, which also supports Microsoft Pen Protocol. And we have a device by WADA, which supports the Microsoft Pen Protocol. And as you would expect, the Surface Pen also writes on our first-party Microsoft Pen Protocol-enabled Surface. But that's not all. I mentioned to you that there are accessory pens available at retail, such as the Wacom Bamboo Ink, which Carla has now. And this device works on the Elan 5th generation controller. It also works on the Elan 6th generation controller, the EETI powered device. It works with a WinHEC controller, with WADA, and again, with our Surface Pro device. Again, no other pen technology has this level of scale and compatibility in the entire industry. So I have to thank all of our partners. It's up to them that this is happening and that we've got this level of scale and compatibility. We have many OEMs, many touch controller partners, and many peripheral partners that we thank you very, very much for your close partnership and work on delivering this. So I'm going to let Carla talk about Precision Touchpad for a bit.
Great, thanks, Christian. So Precision Touchpad, we've been on this journey a bit longer with all of you, and we believe that the Precision Touchpad experience is the best, and our customers continue to reinforce this with higher net promoter scores on PTP systems versus those with legacy touchpads. We have many of our OEM partners shipping 100% PTP as their touchpad solution across their portfolios, which is really great to see. We're finally starting to get towards that scale that we've been aiming for. This provides the most consistent, reliable, and serviceable touchpad to our Windows 10 customers. PTP gives you the flexibility to integrate the technology at all the price points in your portfolio. And then it also gives you flexibility. So if you really want to have the best experience in the industry, you can make additional design choices to make it the best. Use smooth and beautiful coatings in an ergonomic design. Select high-quality sensor parts, and really spend that extra time on great tuning and palm rejection. And then, of course, using inbox drivers will provide the best reliability and serviceability that our customers with Windows 10 are coming to expect. These great touchpad experiences are driven by our expanding group of partners. And of course, as many of you know, Elan, CircAlps, and Synaptics have all been awesome partners with Precision Touchpads, supplying our Windows OEMs for quite some time now. And I really want to thank those three partners. This has been great. But now that we are starting to get to broader scale, it's important to have additional partners so that we can really serve all of the Windows 10 devices out there. So we now have WinHEC, WADA, Cipodev, and Hantic working on delivering PTP technology to the ecosystem as well. And today, I'm happy to announce that touchpads from WADA will be available this month in December, and WinHEC has just made theirs available in November. So thank you to both of those partners, and if you're interested, please contact them. So finally, I want to thank all of you for your partnership on this journey we've been on to bring Microsoft Pen Protocol devices and PTP technologies to our mutual customers. We want to continue partnering with you, and here are a few ways to do that. We encourage you to continue to participate in our marketing programs. For example, we have our Windows Ink badging. Continue to integrate Microsoft Pen Protocol and PTP into more of your technologies and your devices. And on the app front, if you're working with a great app partner and they're not building on our Windows Ink, please reach out to us and we can help them deliver the most beautiful and expressive ink by using our platform. Like the demos you saw today, we are always looking for opportunities to showcase the great work you're doing at events like this. So again, thank you for participating in WinHEC, and thank you for being great partners for us. We really appreciate it.